Welcome to the Inspiration for an Empowered Life podcast, sponsored by the Image Designers. They will help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. Now, here's your host, the Image Master, Holly Porter.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that you're back joining us. We have a fun little show today, and I can't wait for you to dive in with us and see what it's all about. It's mostly going to be about relationships, the holidays, and all the stress that goes along with it.
All right, we're good?
We're good.
You know what? I look at this and go, we can figure this out. You can figure this out, right?
Right? Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I'm really excited today about our topic because we're going to be talking about tips on how to prevent holiday stress and sometimes that depression, right?
Yeah, but I didn't say who you were on my show. I wanted to introduce you. So,
yeah.
So Rhonda Cimorelli, right? Did I say that right?
Got it.
Okay. And
I have my guest, Holly Porter.
So we're doing double duty. We both have our own podcast, and so we wanted to both share with you and have a conversation and bring you in so we can help you all in the stress of the holidays, right?
Absolutely. You know, this couldn't come at a better time because I just want to preface this whole show today because I know I'm not the only person on this planet that has a million things going on for November and December. And I was at a workshop today or a meetup group, and the presenter made a comment, and I love it. She goes, I bet you all are sitting here with 10 different tabs open right now. And I thought,
yeah.
Now I've heard the filing drawer, but I thought that's so true, man. We got all these tabs open and wondering like, what's for dinner? Who's coming? How are we doing this? And I mean, anything from the food, the prep, the guest list, to the things that stress us out, to things that are just coming up in our life that make us go, that wasn't on my plan 2 days ago.
Right.
So this is a perfect time. So thanks. I think this was a great idea. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. I think it is as well. And Rhonda and I have known each other for a while. She's been my guest and I've been her guest on podcasts, and we have a lot of fun. So we just wanted to share with you some tips, right, that we feel like are important to pass along during the holidays so that all of you can maybe pick up one or two things. And we're going to do this in a 2-part, right? We're going to do this week and we're going to do next week. And so you will have 2 shows that you can listen to. And we just felt like we had so much information that we needed to break it up into 2 sessions, so we didn't keep it so long.
Absolutely, short and sweet. And you know what? It's not just related to the holidays. It's I believe everything that we're going to share today can be equated to different times of the year, whether it be Thanksgiving and Christmas. It could be family reunions too, you know?
Anytime you get a group of people together, right? It's like there's not that perfect family. I think one thing that I want to preface before we even jump into these ideas that we came up with is that, you know, you look at other people and you think they have it all together. And when you draw the curtain, they have their flaws just like you. And, you know, I think if we realize, and maybe we know that in our hearts, but, you know, our heads get in the way and we start looking at other people just thinking, well, I want this and I want that and I want to be like that. And they have the perfect husband and, you know, they get this and they get that. It's like, let's bring it all in, like what really matters, you know?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So, you know what, with that, if it's okay, can I kind of start because it rolls right off of what you said?
Yes.
All right, so one of the things that we have on our list is to acknowledge your feelings. And that rolls right off of what Holly just said, is we're all human and we're not perfect. And you're right. We all come from where we are. You know, we are who we are, and let's just be real and acknowledge it. And there's no such thing as forcing to be happy during the holidays. And I think that is something that is that myth out there. I've heard, I do like the phrase, fake it till you make it. But that goes with other areas in your life, not necessarily, you know, pretend to be happy. Now, I'm not encouraging you to, if you're having a bad day and sad, don't blow it up on everybody else.
Right.
But let's just acknowledge, maybe you just had a death in the family. Maybe you just got some bad news about your health. Maybe you just got some bad news about your family. And that can be justifiably cause for being sad. Okay. Sadness doesn't have to equate to depression, right?
Right.
And it's okay to be sad, and take time for take a moment to acknowledge your feelings. Now, what I always talk to with my clients about feelings, that emotional scale. So sadness is a negative emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happy and joy are a positive emotion. Now, if you're sad and you know that, guess what? I would prefer to be in a better place, and whatever it is that's causing me to be sad, I would really like to leave it behind for a few days. Well, then I'm just going to encourage you to do a couple of things. One is you could do something called a state change. Okay. And that could be simply from being aware of your posture. When you're sad, you tend to slump over and your head's down and your energy's low. And I'm just going to encourage you to just do something as simple as a state change, right? Stand up tall, head up tall, put a big smile on your face, and tell me if you can be sad. I'm sad right now.
A little more challenging. Yeah. Right.
It sounds silly, but I find that just making a state change can actually really physically help where I'm at for the holiday season.
Oh, totally.
What
Yeah.
about you?
Well, there are some people that just are kind of they have circumstances, but they are downers naturally. And it's hard for me to relate because I'm not that way. And so it's like, get out of it, but you have to be sympathetic to people maybe that are like that. And maybe, I always say serve, when you're feeling low, the best thing you can do is serve someone else, because it'll just make you feel better. It just does. Just try it.
Well, I have to agree with that because, excuse me, several things have been going. I've been very busy doing a lot of different stuff over the last few weeks, like we all are.
Yeah.
And it kind of came to me the other day that I'm not feeling in the flow. I'm not feeling, there's something missing. And what I realized was I haven't been volunteering as much as I usually do. So I went to one of my favorite places. It's a place that really, it works with kids. So I love to be around children. It works with horses. And as everybody knows, it's one of my favorite animals. So when I combined the two, and I was chatting with this little girl, and she said to me, this was like one of the best lessons. And I said, why? And she goes, because you were here. And I was like, so even my husband noticed that. Now, I had not been depressed or anything, but he noticed I had not been quite myself. And he says, man, you come home from that and you are just happy, So you're right, serve, go out and help somebody else.
Well, and so you need to do more of that. And so would other people. Like, if you find joy in something you're doing, why aren't you doing more of it? Like, ask yourself that question. I had somebody gave me something yesterday. I went to the mail and I came home, and it was somebody I connected. I'm a huge connector, and I had brought them into this group, and they're just the sweetest. She is just the sweetest person. Anyway, she had mailed me, and they were all packaged, so cute, but she had mailed me, she's a chef, and she mailed me an apron, and she knew I love popcorn. So she sent me this organic popcorn and this truffle salt and some truffle something else and some yeast stuff. I don't know. It's this whole recipe you make, and the recipe, and a thank you card. And I was like shocked. Like, that was the shock and awe, gifts that you give people, that it just wows them. And it's gifts from the heart. And that's really, we can talk about that either today or the next time we have the show. But, that was just like, made my whole begin of my holidays. I thought, wow, this is what it's really all about. If somebody did that for me, I had not expected it, and I was just like, so acknowledge feelings. Yeah, I'm feeling guilty for one, because I'm like, why aren't I doing that for people? Well, I can. Why can't I? Right?
Absolutely. We can all do that. And that, I think you have something that follows up with feelings that we were going to chat about, right?
Be realistic. Are we going to that one?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, right. Well, I think that we live in this little fantasy world sometimes, or, we want to be like that person on TV that has the perfect life. And we want to do over last year because nothing can top that. Everything was perfect. And we have to just give yourself permission to live and be in the moment today. Like
Mm.
that's about being realistic, is that nothing's going to be the same, and I put that in little air quotes, the same, nothing, um, you don't get those do-overs of you can't rewind and relive that, right? It's like every day is going to be a new day. And so just be real about it and live every day to its fullest.
Yeah, you're right. That makes me think about the growing and changing, some of the stuff I talk about in my book, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. And as you said, every day is going to be different. And think about yourself. Are you the same person that you were last year? Is your husband the same? Is your sister-in-law the same? Are the families the same? My gosh, you and I talked about those differences with the families that are
Yeah.
blended, and so many things could change. So you're right. Be realistic, because there's no way. Well, there's two sides to look at this. If it was a really great year last year, it might not be great this year. But you know what? If it was really bad last year, it could only get better, right?
Right.
So that's the good thing. It doesn't have to duplicate, and to have those expectations. Be realistic, as you said. Be realistic, and to not try to compete with the Mayberries, right?
Right.
The Oh my, who's that family from back in like the 50s and 60s shows, like June Cleaver,
Oh yeah, right. And yeah,
Leave it to, no, yeah, I just dated
leave
myself
it to
with that
Beaver.
one.
Right.
That's okay. Because I come from these different families. My family was always very small and quiet growing up, and kind of prim and proper. And
Right.
then the family I married into is complete 180 opposite. It is big, it is loud, it is chaotic, it is out of control sometimes. and,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if they're going to listen to this one or not, but you know,
That's okay.
I love them for who they are, but I love that. Set realistic expectations. I think that's a really great tip for today.
Yeah, no, it's very true. We'll go to the next one.
Well, that makes me lead into, and I'm laughing because set aside some differences. Try to accept family members and friends as they are, and that really makes me kind of reflect on families situations that I've experienced in the past. There have been tiffs and little rifles during the holiday
Mm.
season, and that could have been that expectation, or, oh gosh, is this going to happen again? And to realize that people have grown and changed, and scenarios have changed. So
Yeah.
for me to be able to set myself up to be in that, like we said, that servant place, that giving, I think you said, be having more empathy for
Yeah.
others. Yeah, that helps me a lot get through those situations, and to realize that although it's blended in the sense that there's the outlaws, the in-laws,
Yeah.
the different dynamics. What I have to remember is what I want to bring to the table, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and if I want to bring out the goodness in the holiday and be my best, and I want to be there for my immediate family for the best, then that's the energy that I'm gonna that's gonna come back to me. So
Yes.
try. I think that's a really important part to
Well,
just
they're
try to.
Yeah, I just to piggyback on that, it's like we live in a world where it's easy to talk to people if we want to. We can communicate a lot better than we used to. And you can FaceTime them or whatever, but probably at a family function, if you have a grievance, I would not suggest to do that during the holidays. I would say set aside your differences, pick a time, and then that's for you. If somebody comes to pick a fight with you, or challenges you in some way, or triggers you in some way, figure out ahead of time how you're going to deal with that. Because if you know your feelings or your reaction and your outcome, it could tick you off more than no other. But if you know how you're going to react, you are in control of how you react to them and what they do. to you or for you or say to you, you know? And so I think that it's like, hold your tongue and also know how you're going to respond no matter what the circumstances are.
Absolutely. The respond is key. So, you know, the things that I try to work on with people is try not to react, right? It's a knee-jerk reaction as opposed to responding properly. And that makes me think of something I was going through today in one of my courses. And you care if I share that right quick?
No, I'd love to hear.
I thought this was really interesting. It's about communication, and I really think it kind of goes with this whole holiday stress and communication with everybody. Keep in mind, you know, we talk about how we're feeling, what's going on in our life, walking into another situation with a lot of people, having those expectations. So with that being was said, the example that was given today was to be aware of what we're feeling.
Right.
So we can respond properly. And the example was, if you take the words, what do you mean by that? Now, if you say those 5 words in a monotone, they don't have a lot of meaning. What do you mean by that? Sounds a little robotic.
Right.
However, if you take a moment and say, what do you mean by that? It changes the tone, right?
Definitely.
And it changes how you're interpreting things. What do you mean by that? Again, it changes the tone and the meaning. Or what do you mean by that? Okay, just so again, depending on what's been happening in your life at that particular given moment or that week, you're going to interpret this in a certain way. So the same goes true with how you say things. Okay, so if you've been having a really rough week, day, or month, keep in mind that your intentions, you know, what you're intending to say and what you do say can really affect those communications over the holidays. And that can help keep things at bay so that we don't have those head knockers.
Yeah, because tone means a lot, you know, and how you just made a great example of it. And I think, you know, we jump to conclusions when we hear other tones that we just, I don't know. I just kind of like go with the flow, you know me. So it's like, I don't let a lot trigger me, you know? And so when someone will come to me and say, so-and-so, they said this or did this, it's like, I don't know. I guess I just don't dissect everything everybody says to me, you know? And so I don't relate to that very well. But I think, you know, if we just get clarification, if something does trigger you, get clarification. Oh, we have the worldly things happening here. Cell phones ringing. You know what happens.
Well,
welcome back.
Well, it's just what I'm laughing so much about is, again, intentions, right? So I'm just going to share this with you because I think it's relatable to this whole conversation. Our intentions are what we put out there. And my husband has great intentions. He's going to be traveling today. Wanted to let me know what's going on. Although I said to him, between this hour and this hour, I'm not going to talk to you. And
and when does he call?
He called anyway.
We weren't even talking about him, so his ears weren't ringing.
No, but he knows I'm talking about family and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It can bring out the best or the worst, right? Let's talk about the next one. Plan ahead. So map out in your mind or on paper, whatever works for you, you know, the plans of what you need to do, what you need to take care of, what and when the parties are that you're choosing to attend to, if any, you know, plan out your menus, your food, just get a plan a little bit because it'll make everything so much smoother. And especially when you're talking about food, if you forget something on your menu and you're in the middle of cooking it, you know, sometimes it's hard to go run to the store at the last minute, or it's crowded, or, you know, it just adds more stress. And so I think when we talk about that, it's more just get the help you need. Just make any kind of plans that you need that you can foresee. And then hang on to that list would be my other suggestion, and file it, pack it with your, if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, pack it with that boxes that you store So the next year when you get it out again, there's your list. And so you don't have to start over every year. Maybe you can just tweak it.
Oh, that's a great idea, especially when it comes to cooking. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Or, I'm thinking, oh, I cook the same things for the holidays and stick it inside the cookbook even.
Yes.
That would be great. Speaking of planning, and I'm thinking about I'm sure, again, I'm not the only person that has to travel because my family now is 10 hours away from me. So I travel to them, although I'm going to hold that thought. So in regards to planning, not just your food, but what about, your pets? If you're traveling, what kind of care do you need for your animals?
Mm-hmm.
If you're preparing and let's say you're hosting and you want a lot of kids to come over, what are the plans to keep the smaller kids entertained if you have high energy children? I think it's important that we do kind of plan some other things as well as just the food and drinks.
Speaking of, I gotta say, because I owned a salon and spa for so many years and I've been a hairdresser for over 30 years, that is a huge thing you need to plan ahead. Like I have a daughter I train to do hair and she's 8 to 10 weeks out. So do you think you're going to get in during the holidays? And so the point is make your appointments, think about things because people want to look good for the holidays. That's like a big time, the busiest time for hairdressers, nail techs, all of them in the service-based business like that. The holidays are huge for them. And so you're just going to stress them out more if you come and, you're demanding or whatever. So remember that. And then also another thing, plan to, in those service-based businesses, waitresses, hairdressers, nail techs, I don't know, think of any more, I'm sure you can, plan on giving them a little extra. It's their holiday too. And they work hard, and a lot of people work. I mean, waitresses in Utah, I don't know if you know this, but they only make like $2.15 an hour. That's it. So they basically are working for, that pays the taxes, if that, and they work for tips. And so I think just be aware of others and the giving and, take care of those time people, but plan ahead for those appointments for sure.
Oh, I love that. And my last tip on the plan ahead, as far as what I have to give for this, is plan to be flexible. The best laid plans, everything I've ever come across, if it was written in stone, I'd be in so much trouble. So learn, plan to be flexible. And if you are, I don't care if it's cooking, and, if we end up going to our other house, the nearest grocery store is a half an hour away. So if I forgot it, I need to tweak it and just be okay with it. And if it's a matter of the guest list, again, it may not be perfect. You might have a few less that showed up and you might have a few more that showed up. Just be okay with it. Be flexible with that planning.
No, I totally agree. Just be okay, and don't be afraid to say no either, because it's all right. You need to take care of you first, right? You got a lot of things, on your shoulders, and we're both busy moms. We get it. And I have we have 8 children. So you can imagine our holidays are super chaotic, and I'm from a family of 9 kids. And so I've always had a ton around for the holidays, and it's fun, but it's also stressful, and a couple things, let's jump into just closing up here of some things to keep in mind. The first thing is keep things simple, during the holidays. Just, think of the things that can make your life easier so that you can not have so much on your plate. And, that plan, again, if that's in place, that's going to keep it a lot easier to deal with. But, you don't have a plan, you're going to be in a mess, right?
Thank you for listening to the Inspiration for an Empowered Life podcast, sponsored by the Image Designers. They will help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. You can learn more about them at theimagedesigners.com or email Holly at hollyporter.com.
I gotta do the cleaning, I gotta do the shopping, I gotta do the prep, I have to do everything. And it's exhausting.
Yes, it is.
So really take a moment when you're making that plan and figure out, prioritize. What do I have to do? What can I delegate to somebody else? Who can help me with the shopping? Who can help me with the cleaning? Who can help me with the kids that are coming, right? And delegate, and keep in mind too, because I know we all have other jobs on our list of things that we do. So what can we push off until after that holiday or after that trip?
Yeah.
Because I know I was always one that felt like I had to have it all done, and it had to be perfect, and it had to be done before I left or before everybody got here. And what I realized after many, many years, this is where my wisdom comes in. Thank you very much for the 40 rule wisdom book.
There you go.
My wisdom has come in that there's no such thing as perfect, and it doesn't all have to be done. So yeah, keep it simple. What has to be done, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, because will it matter next year if you didn't do it? I mean, are you going to ruin somebody's memory? If you didn't give them the memory, they're not going to know about it, right? Just give them good memories. That's all. You don't want them to remember, oh, Christmas every year, all I remember is how frantic my mom was running around because she had to do all these things, you know? Another thing that came up when you were saying that is I had a client for a lot of years, and I watched her. She had 6 kids, and I watched her just work her fingers to the bone during the holidays and make everything, you know, like you said, so perfect. But you know what was interesting is she had adult children, and I finally said, why aren't you having them give them a list? Why aren't they bringing food and helping prep and coming earlier? They don't just show up for dinner. This would be like every Sunday night they'd have family dinner. She'd do everything. And it was like, you're making yourself sick, you know, because you're not taking care of you. It's okay for them to bring a salad, or they bake the mashed potatoes and they get to peel all the potatoes, you know? I mean, don't discredit, you know, teach your kids these skills so that they are able to do these things for their families too. Give them a part.
Amen. You know, I'm not going to mention any names or how I know these people, but you know what? I just have to say this because it's so important to give your kids the skills, like you said, stop enabling them, because I know of young adults.
Yeah.
I personally know of young adults who are college age and can't do their own laundry. They don't know how to work a microwave or a washing machine, and my daughter, when she moved out, her roommate, same age, 23 or 4 at the time, and parents had enabled him, couldn't cook for himself, couldn't clean, couldn't do anything. And it's frustrating. So yeah. And again, that's what we're talking about, is keep it simple, delegate things, take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself over the holidays, honestly, does not have to mean, oh, guess what? I need to go get a 1-hour massage because I deserve it. Well, you probably most definitely do deserve the 1-hour massage. Timing might not be perfect. So, you know, maybe we could give some tips for self-care. And I have one right here.
Okay.
Allow yourself to be fully present in your mind and body for 5 to 10 minutes. If you have to go in the bathroom and shut the door and get the kids out, just mom's busy for a minute, but 5 to 10 minutes and be fully present with everything around you. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and be aware of the sights, the sounds, the smell, the temperature, and just be you. And it doesn't have to take more than that, but if you'll do that even just every morning or every night or just during the day, that's time for you, and that can make a big difference in how your day goes.
Yeah, I love that idea. I've noticed the last couple mornings when I've been out walking, it's been kind of actually funny because I always listen to podcasts or, you know, personal development things while I'm walking. But I've also realized that you don't, you know, you have your earbuds in, and so you don't really get to see what's going on. I live where it's beautiful. I'm walking by water, and I mean, the mountains are right by me. It's beautiful. And so I've noticed though that my phone has died, like at 30%. It just all of a sudden shuts off. And it's been interesting because the first time it happened, I was only about a third the way into my walk. Happened again this morning when I was about a third the way to home. And I thought about it and I thought, that's probably not a coincidence. There's probably some meaning behind that I need to shut it off and just be present with where I'm at right then. And I think that I want to say that same thing for us, sometimes just taking that 5 or 10 minutes and just being still, being quiet. Don't get any interruptions, which is really hard to do. Anyway, especially with my mind. I mean, I have the biggest monkey mind around, and it's jumping all over the place all the time. And so I think just, breathe, be still, take that time for you, figure out, if it's a bath for you, we had the 40/40 rules books. 40 women gave their ideas of self-care. And I would say not a lot crossed over.
No.
A lot, they were just different ideas, and it was awesome. Just, whatever self-care looks like to you, which is obviously something you enjoy.
Right.
Do it.
That's really the definition. Whatever makes you feel good and refuels you. Just a quick example this morning, when I got back from my network meeting, although that was a great meeting this morning, you know what really did it for me? I actually, I came home, my horses are both laying down, they're sunning themselves. And just for me to be able to walk in there, be with them for, again, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just makes my whole day. It's something so precious to me that whatever it is for you. And I heard, I think John Assaraf talk about this too. Put yourself in that place of joy and happiness. Mm-hmm. And for some people, it could be something as simple as sit on the couch, and if maybe your cats, you love cats, just sit there and be present with them. Let them turn on that motor, let them purr all over you. If that's what brings you joy. If you're the person that really needs to take that bubble bath that you said, then my gosh, go do it. Because if you don't take care of you, who's going to take care of you?
Right. Also, I want to say for busy moms listening, it would be a really wise thing as a mom to see what it is in these same ideas for your kids. Like what do you see really makes them happy? Like what brings your kids joy? And to me, that should make it so much easier on how to serve your own children, how to make them happy because of what brings them joy. So I think figuring that out, boy, I wish I would have had that advice. I would have paid attention to that when my kids were young. Now they're all adults, but yeah.
Well, see, now we have grandkids to figure that out with, right?
I know. And my grandkids are so flippin' cute. They always say they need Grandma Holly time. I'm like, oh, melt my heart. I'll give you Grandma Holly time.
My grandbabies. So, we're going to wrap this week up because we are going to give some more tips next week. And I think the last tip for today is really pick and choose those battles, right? I think we mentioned this earlier. If it's not going to matter tomorrow, next week, or next year, maybe let it go. Oh, I think that was my mantra in the book. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I can show you my screen. I actually have the poster.
oh yeah. I think I have seen it, haven't I, before?
I could show you my poster. This is so funny. Watch this. Hang on. Forgive my funny screen here.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Yep. We all need to learn how to do that more and not take life so serious because if it doesn't matter later, sometimes it doesn't matter 5 minutes later. And how much energy did we exhaust on worrying about it? More than 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, it didn't even matter. So.
And then you're drained, and then you're tired, and then your energy is dead. It's that perpetual cycle. So let it go.
Let it go. Decide where you want to put your energy, because energy goes where energy flows. So.
Yes, I love it. Spoken like a true amazing woman that you are.
Well, thanks so much for joining all of us.
Yes, I want everybody to say thank you to Holly. Thank you so much for joining me. And I am so excited about getting back next week because we have 5 more fabulous tips that we want to share so you can be less stressed over the holidays.
And we'd love your comments.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Inspiration for an Empowered Life podcast, sponsored by the Image Designers. They will help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. You can learn more about them at theimagedesigners.com or email Holly at hollyporter.com.